Welcome you all to the lecture series on basics of Python programming. This is M. Anbalagan. Through this video lecture, I'm going to cover the topic named the function arguments. I hope the videos uploaded by me previously were found useful as well as interesting by all of you. If you wish to get more and more videos about the Python programming or any other useful stuffs related to computer engineering, you can subscribe to my YouTube channel Computer Engineering Made Easier, and also you can press the bell button. That will give you an opportunity to get the notification of the videos that I will be uploading from time to time. Let me now get into the lecture. The title of this lecture is, as I mentioned just now, it is passing arguments to functions or the function arguments. Function, as we all know, a function is a group of related statements that will perform a specific task. Now, what does it mean, function arguments? So, function arguments mean, information that is required by a function to perform the task that it is designated to do. Or, in other words, we can say passing of arguments to a function means that we want to communicate some information to the function. To the underlying function, we may want to communicate some information. So in that case, we'll have to pass the required number of arguments to a function. So how will we know that these many arguments are required by a function? So before you call a function, you will have to make sure that you have already gone through the definition of the function concerned, because in the function definition only we can see the parameter list. Now in the parameter list, if there are three variables given, then in the function calling statement, it is expected by the function that we will have to pass three arguments. And also in Python, there is a unique feature available that with which we can pass fixed number of arguments, or sometimes we can pass variable number of arguments. Variable number of arguments mean that we can pass arbitrary number of arguments, random number of arguments. And also to a function, we can also pass keyword arguments. So while passing keyword arguments, there is no compulsion that we'll have to maintain the order of the arguments. We can change the order of arguments. We can change the order of keys that will be accepted as the parameters by a function. So with that, now let me switch over to idle shell, to have a quick demonstration on function calling and passing arguments to a function. The example that we want to discuss here in the Python shell, the idle shell, for the demonstration of function calling and passing of arguments, is going to be finding the distance between 2 points in xy Cartesian plane. That we can remember the formula by this time. The formula for calculating the distance between two different points in xy Cartesian plane is plus the square root of x1 minus x2 the whole square plus y1 minus y2 the whole square. And for the same, I'm going to write a program here. Let me first save it. It is going to be functions 4.py. The program is saved here. The file is saved here. So the function is going to be distance, and the arguments required, the parameter list of this function is going to have the argument, the parameters are the variables like x1, x2, y1, or we can give in the order like x1, y1, x2, y2. These four are going to be the parameters used by this function for the calculation purpose. And here is the time we want to calculate the distance by applying the formula. Let's first calculate the distance here. Distance d is equal to, so before we want to calculate the distance, it is compulsory that we will have to import the module named math, because in the module math only we can find the definition for the function, predefined function square root, so sqrt of. So this function is going to help us to find out the square root of the given number. Now the square root, how I am going to find out? before finding out the square root, I need to have an expression like I need to have x1 minus x2 the whole square plus y1 minus y2 the whole square. So double asterisk means that we are using exponent operator. This is for raising the power to 2. We want to find out the square of x1 minus x2 the whole power. Similarly, y1 minus y2 the whole power 2. The summation of these two will be found out, and that will be the square root of that we will obtain through the function, the predefined function sqrt. So the distance is found here. I'm going to return the distance. So the definition part of the function is over. Now we are going to get the inputs for x1, y1, x2 and y2. For x1, I'm going to use the variable called x. So it will be int of or let's directly call the function without obtaining the inputs from the keyboard. The inputs for this function will be hard coded here. So I'm going to call the function here distance of. This is going to be the function calling statement. Since the function is returning the result should be stored in a variable. So it is going to be dist. So distance of, I'm going to pass the points. For x1 I'm giving 5, and for y1 I'm giving 6, and for x2 I'm going to give 8, and for y2 I'm going to give 9. So that way the function distance is called here. So while calling the function distance, you can see that we are passing certain number of arguments. There are 4 arguments passed. All these 4 arguments will be matched with the 4 parameters that are given over here. It's time to remember the point that the variables that are given, the list of variables that are given within the function's signature. So the first line of the function definition is called the function's header or signature. The variables that are given within this function's signature or header are said to be the parameters. Let me use a comment line here. So here these are said to be the parameters, and in function calling statement the variables are the values that we are going to pass. They are simply said to be the arguments that we need to remember always. So these are going to be the arguments. It's now time to print the distance. So the distance between, so I am giving a message like the distance between 2 points is dist. Now time to give a try on executing this code by pressing the function key F5. Now it shows that the distance between the 2 points that are passed to this function as input is going to be 4.2426. So that way we can pass arguments to a function. Since this function distance is accepting 4 parameters, now we are expected to pass the exact number of parameters. That is, we are expected to pass 4 different values for these 4 different arguments. The ordering is really important here. The value 5 is now, it will be assigned to x1, 6 will be assigned to y1, 8 will be assigned to x2, 9 will be assigned to y2. So that ordering we cannot change. So this is how we can pass arguments to a function. Yeah, now having seen about passing arguments to a function, it's now time to get back to the presentation to know the details about how we can pass arbitrary number of arguments to a function. So that is going to be our concern now. So passing arbitrary number of arguments, it simply means that we will not know how many arguments that we are going to pass. That information we will not know well in advance. In such case, while passing arbitrary number of arguments or while passing random number of arguments, what is important in functions definition is we will have to give one argument. The name of that argument can be anything. It is an optional name, but in front of that optional name we will have to put the symbol asterisk. It means that it is not a pointer like the same symbol asterisk that we might have seen in C programming or C++ programming. So in front of a variable name, if asterisk sign is found, some symbol is found, it means that it is pointer, the dereference operator. But here this is not going to act as dereference operator. It simply indicates the fact that the function is going to receive random number of arguments or arbitrary number of arguments. So that way we are indicating this here. Now you can see that here in this function's definition, the arbitrary number of arguments is mentioned. This time we are passing 3 arguments. While calling the function my function, we are passing 3 arguments. Next time we may pass n number of arguments. Next time we may pass 4 arguments or 5 or 6. It depends, depending upon our need. But what is happening exactly here is while calling the function concerned, while calling the underlying function with the arbitrary number of arguments, all those arguments will be simply passed as a tuple to this function. The elements of the tuple can be either accessed one by one, or we can go for iterating through all the elements of the tuple by using for loop or the while loop. It's now time to see a quick demonstration on passing arbitrary number of arguments to a function. Let me now switch over to the Python shell, idle shell, for showing you a demonstration. Yes. So now, once again, there is going to be a script mode. So file, new file. This time, Control S. This is going to be my fifth program, fifth simple program about functions. Let's see that now. The function that we are going to create here, maybe we can call this function print, or let's call this function summation. I'm going to call this function summation. This function is going to accept arbitrary number of arguments. That is why I am using this asterisk symbol in front of my argument list name. The name that I am giving here is arg, but it is an optional name. We can give any name over here. Since this arbitrary number of arguments are going to be accepted as a tuple, I have decided to use a for loop to store the sum of all these numbers. So sum is equal to, sum is a keyword. Let's have another variable, suitable variable name called the total. Total is equal to 0 is assigned here. So for an element E in my tuple arg, I'm going to calculate the total as total is equal to total plus the element E. That's all. Now the total is calculated. This is 0. This is 0. Total is equal to 0. So this way we can iterate through all the elements in the tuple, or if required, we can also directly access the individual elements of the tuple that is given over there. Even for that, we may have an example, an instruction, print instruction to print the first element, the first argument passed. The first argument passed is comma. The name of the tuple here is arg, and in order to retrieve the first element, I need to use the index 0, because tuple is going to be an ordered collection indexed by the numbers starting from 0 to n minus 1. N indicates the size of the tuple, so args of 0. This way we can access the individual element of the tuple, or we can iterate through all the elements of the tuple by using for loop or while loop. Fine. This is where after printing the result, the function is going to return the total. Yeah, the function's definition is over. I'm going to call the function here multiple times. I'm going to call total t1, or let me keep this calling statement inside the function call, inside the print statement. The total 1 is comma. The name of the function is summation. So I'm calling it here summation of, I'll be passing arguments like 2, 3, 5. This time I'm passing only 3 arguments. See next time what is going to happen here. Next time the total 2, I'm giving this as total 2 is, I'll be passing different number of arguments, 5, 8, 7, 9. Fine. And while calling this function for the third time, the function is going to accept only two parameters, namely 89 comma minus 8. So now we can see that we can easily understand here the function summation is called for 3 times in total. First time when the function is called, only 3 arguments are passed. Second time 4 arguments are passed, and the last time, the third time, only 2 arguments are passed. It means that we are trying to pass arbitrary number of arguments to this function arg. It's time to execute this program. We can see that here in all these cases, in all these 3 function calling statements, we can see the first argument is printed and also the sum is printed. So that way we can pass arbitrary number of arguments to a function. And then let me now switch over to the presentation file. Here are the details about the keyword arguments. Keyword arguments are like the dictionaries in Python. As we all know, a Python dictionary is a collection of key value pairs. Now to a function, the point here is to a function we can pass keyword arguments. While passing keyword arguments, the benefit here is there is no need to maintain the order of the arguments that are passed as inputs to the function. Now here is an example function given. For this function we are using 3 variables. The 3 parameters are given like child 3, 2 and 1. These are in fact the keywords. Now in the function calling statement, if we look, we are passing key value pairs. So for key child 1, the value is ABC. For key child 2, the value is PQR. And for key child 3, the value is going to be XYZ. So we are not directly passing the values to the function as arguments, but we are passing the keys. When we pass keys as arguments to a function, over here there is no need to follow any particular order. We can see here the order in which the parameters are listed here is child 3, then comes 2, then comes child 1. But over here, while passing these keys as input to this function, as arguments to this function, we are not maintaining the same order. So that way, the change in order can be exploited through this passing of keyword arguments to a function. Let me now switch over to the Python shell for the idle shell for showing you a demonstration on keyword arguments. File, new file. This time it is going to be function 6.py. Magnifier. Yeah. So this time the program is going to accept keyword arguments. So keeping that in my mind, I am going to create a function called the display. Now this function display is going to accept the keywords like K1, K2, K3 and K4. These are going to be the keywords, the keys. And I'm going to simply print these keys without doing any operations. So the keys, let's assume like this. For K1 and K2 we are going to pass strings, and for K3 and K4 we are going to pass some integers. So that way I am simply printing the value stored in K1, the value stored in the key K1 is comma K1. Same thing, print the value stored in the key K2 is comma K2. Closing of the double quotation is mandatory here, K2. And finally, I'm going to print the sum of the values stored in the keys K3 and K4. So that I am printing as the sum of K3 and K4. The values stored in K3 and K4 is going to be K3 plus K4. So that way, we are using these keyword arguments inside the function display. Now time to call the function display. I am calling it by specifying the name of the function. So for K3, I am going to change the order. For K3, I am giving 5. And for K4, I am going to give 78. And for K1, I am going to give a string input. let it be ABC, and for the key K2, it must be double quotation mark. For the key K2, I'm going to pass another string called PQR. Okay, that's all about this. So now there is no similarity between the order that is being followed in the parameter list and the argument list. Anyway, the function will execute in the correct manner. In a correct manner, the function will execute. Let me now execute this code to see the output. Now we can see it here. It shows like the value stored in K1 is ABC, that we can see here. We can have a comparison between that. Yes, and yeah, and then the value stored in K2, as we know, it is PQR, and finally the sum of K3 and K4 is going to be 83. So that way we need not maintain any particular order while passing keyword arguments to a function. So with that, this is over. Now the next topic that we want to see here is going to be the function with default arguments. There are occasions wherein we may fail to pass the necessary number of arguments to a function. In that case, if the function is having default argument in function's definition, in place of the argument that we are going to pass, the function will be using the default argument that is mentioned in the function's definition. So let me now show you a quick demonstration for function with default argument also. I'll be saving this file first. So it is going to be functions. Let it be function 7. This is function 7. Now let's see, I'm going to have a function called fun1, or let me call this as function only function. So this function is going to have two arguments. One is two parameters it is going to have in its parameter list, A and B. For B, I'm going to give a default argument. Even for A, I can give a default argument here. So A is equal to 10. So these are called the default arguments. When this function is called, when we call this function, if we fail to pass any argument, then the default values that are specified within this function's header will be used for the processing, will be used for the calculation purpose. So I'm going to print them. Print A is equal to comma A. Similarly, B is equal to comma B. So that's all about this function. Now we can call this function named the function. I'm calling this function. This time I'm going to pass an empty argument list. So next time what I'm going to do here is I'm going to pass only one argument, that is 15. And third time when I'm going to call this function, I will be passing all two arguments. Now we can see here while calling this function for the first time, an empty argument list is passed. It means that the value for A and B will be taken from the default arguments 10 and 5, the default parameters. And for the second time when I call the function, I am passing only one argument. That value will be assigned to A. For B, we won't pass any argument. For B, it will be taking the value 5. Third time when we call the function, we are passing 20 and 30. 20 will be used for A and 30 will be used for B. So this is how we can, have functions with the default values as parameters or arguments. Now we may have a question like, can we pass only the value for B? For A, can we take value from 10? Is it possible? If that question, if we have, then the answer for that question will be strictly no. We can, the ordering is very important. So if we try to pass only the value for B and not the value for A, then it will show us an error. So the ordering is very important here. Let me now execute this code by pressing the key F5, and we can see here it is very interesting to know that the functions are capable of using the default values. First time I am passing empty argument list, so the values for A and B are taken from default parameters. Second time I am passing only one argument that will be substituted to the parameter A, so 15 it is changed. For B it is taking value from the default value 5. Third time I'm passing all two arguments, so it is going to take values 20 and 30 for A and B. So with that, the default arguments are over. So this is how we can understand the functions and the arguments. So with that, I'm going to finish this video lecture. If there is a question about all these things, whatever we have covered as part of this video lecture, you can raise them in the comment section. Please don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel for getting more videos about the Python programming and the other programming languages also. And in the immediate next video lecture, we are going to see something called local variables and global variables in Python with respect to the context functions. So that's all about this video lecture. Thanks for your patience and participation in my lecture. Thank you.